Come on in, we welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in,
Come on in,
come on in,
come on in.
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you.
Come on in,
Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on in.
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Reverend Sunshine is in the building. And so are all of us here. And so we just take a collective sigh. And we sing about revealing that which is present within us, the love and the peace and the joy. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. Reveal the peace. Reveal, reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me, the joy. Reveal, reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal what?
Reveal,
Yeah, the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. When does it happen?
every time I open
Love
up,
is what I see.
love is what I see.
How often?
Every time I open up,
Peace is what I see.
peace is what I see.
When?
Every time I open
Joy.
up, joy is what I see. Reveal the love in me.
Oh, and such joy, such joy, such joy, joy, joy we get from Sonny and Jim and Cole. And what a wonderful way to move into this evening, move into prayer, and bring this service into action. And so I know that God is here. I am assured that God is everywhere. I am a living, breathing expression of God, as is each one here, each one who has blessed this building, blessed this sanctuary, and made the choice to be here in the love and the power and the grace that comes from being together as one. And I am grateful for that, and I fill up with that as I know each one here brings a gift that is just theirs as God expressing. And I look forward every week to that opportunity to see that, to watch that, to hear that, to feel that, and to know that joy and love and peace are here. And it is all good. And so it is. Good evening. Wow, it's weird when it's still light out, isn't it? So this is the revealing experience. This has been the revealing experience for 17 months now.
Wow.
Yay! Yeah. And so we have been using this year of 2014 to get booked up by reading passages from Science of Mind. Every day we've had them all listed out by a wonderful genius and a computer to put these together so that we can look at passages written by Ernest Holmes as part of who we are, what we do, and what we know, and what we desire. And so the message for tonight is entitled Comedy or Tragedy, okay? Straight from the passage if you read it today. And so I choose comedy this evening. And here we go. You know, there's traditional definitions of tragedy or comedy, and they usually include statements like, well, it's the difference between something ending on an unresolved or unpleasant note or a happy note. I was at my voice lesson the other day, and we were talking about how sometimes I can be really hard on myself when I feel insecure about learning a new song. So how much more power could I have to keep on singing if I would just chuckle at my seriousness and keep practicing? Adding a bit of science of mind to that brings the option of choice to the table for me. I can choose. I can be happy by changing my perspective. I can laugh. Laughter is so healing, so expansive, and so fun. So that got me to thinking of my grandchildren and the jokes that they love to hear. So, sorry, but here are some of the funnies from my book of grandma jokes. Okay? Why can't a bicycle stand up by itself? Why? Because it is too tired. Who walks into a restaurant, eats, shoots, and leaves? A vegetarian. Shoots and leaves. Okay. Bear with me here. What did the number 0 say to the number 8? Nice belt. There are 2 muffins in an oven. One muffin turns to the other muffin and says, "Boy, is it hot in here." The other muffin says, "Oh my God, a talking muffin." A guy in a library walks up to the librarian and says, "I'll have a cheeseburger and fries, please." The librarian responds, "Sir, you know you're in a library, right?" The guy says, "Oh, sorry, I'll have a cheeseburger and fries." And last but not least, where does the president keep his armies? In his sleeveys. So, we can choose the comedy. It is up to us. I choose Reverend Sunshine tonight and delight in her smile and all that she brings for us tonight with her message. So let's get her up here.
Thank you, Jen. That was great. Thank you for that great prayer and all the great comedy. Hi, everybody. Welcome. What a joy. I think we need to start every week with some, right? With some comedy every week. I like it. I like laughing. Welcome. So glad that you're here tonight. You know, as I was preparing for my talk tonight, it was amazing because the only joke I ever come up with is, the one I already told you. You gonna go? Namaste. Yeah. I can't come up with all, I guess I got to be a grandma to come up with the, you gonna go? Namaste. Namaste. I'm namaste. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that Jan said is that we have been reading the Science of Mind book so far. We're into the first week of May here. So for the last 5 months, if you've been with us from the very, very beginning, you've been able to take a look at the evolution of our teaching and our learning. The good news is that if you're joining us for the very first time today, or if you haven't picked up the book and the index on where to read, you can always start today, and by next year this time, just reading a few passages, a few pages, you will have read the Science of Mind book, this big, thick book, in 1 year. But we make it bite-size, and it's actually incredible. And one of the things that I got from today's reading in particular is this idea of will. And really, what is our will? The dictionary explains will to be the mental faculty to choose a course of action. And if we were listening to Jan just kind of introduce my talk title for today and introduce a little bit of the reading for today, it is indeed our choice. We are God expressing. We are the unique and divine way that God is expressing. And one of the gifts that we have in this human form is that we have the will to choose the direction and the path of our life. That we have, by our mental capacity, the ability and the faculty to make some decisions and take a course of action that will lead us to the comedy or the tragedy. Now, what happens with lots of us is that we've been socialized or raised to believe that life happens to us and that we have no control over what happens to us. And when we come into spiritual communities like these, New Thought Philosophy, Science of Mind, when we begin to learn the principles, we begin to learn that what we were taught as children is a lie. That indeed life does not happen to us, but life happens as us. Yet there is a stage for us to kind of peel off, if you will, by the time we're adults and teenagers and young adults. We have to peel off or unlearn stuff that we've learned to get to that place to knowing that life happens as me. Life happens as me. And the stages to get there, if we've been socialized or if we've been raised to believe that life happens to me and that I am a victim of my circumstances, is that I get to release victimhood. I get to release this idea and this thought that, I have no control over my life and life happens to me. Things just happen. Stuff happens. And I fall prey to that. So I must release that idea, release that thought and that idea that I am a victim to the world and the circumstances. And what I must embrace is this idea that through some spiritual practice and through concentration, through bringing my thoughts and my ideas to a particular thing, that I can actually put into motion a cause that brings about an effect that I can enjoy. And in fact, what I get to learn is that even when I was living in victimhood, that it was a result of my thinking and my belief and my actions that caused that stuff to happen in the first place. Now, hey, hold on a second. A lot of us don't want to think or believe that we're the cause of some tragedy or some mishap or some foul stuff that happens in our life. But the truth is that as I believe, it happens. It is done unto you as you believe. And if I believe in doom and gloom, if I am caught up in I'm a bad person or there are bad people out there or there's people out there coming out to get me, or the world is against me, or I live in an unfriendly world, then that is exactly what I receive, because that is exactly what I'm looking for. We always get what we're looking for, and in some cases, we get what we're looking through, in a sense. The lens that we're looking through. So if our lenses, like if my glasses are foggy and dirty, then I might not see you. I just see these gray spots and dirt and mud. And so what I'm looking through is this filter, and that's what I see. Now, as I begin to accept that I actually do have some control by means of my thinking, by means of my behavior, by means of developing a particular belief system, that's where the BS comes in, the belief system, right? So as I continue to improve my belief system, it is done unto me as I believe. My circumstances and situations begin to improve. We come to spiritual communities like this, and all of a sudden we get what do they call it? The 3 Ps, the parking spot, the palace, and the prince or the princess, depending which one you like, you know? We get the 3 Ps because we've learned that if I focus my attention on what I want and leave what I don't want, that the law of attraction is working, and now I am attracting to me what it is that I want. So the perfect parking spot is now mine. We go to the mall, and sure enough, we get Doris Day parking. For those of you who are old enough, if you remember all the Doris Day movies, you know, anytime she would drive anywhere, she'd drive right to the front, voila. She had the perfect parking spot, right? I'm a Day. Sunshine Day, Doris Day. Okay. It happens for me too. But I didn't make any movies yet, you know? Now, the thing is that as we evolve spiritually, as we mature spiritually, as we begin to really recognize that, yeah, this stuff is pretty cool, I'm able to manifest, my life is going really well, but there's a different step, there's a different tier, if you will, and that tier is that life happens through me, where we relinquish control and we recognize that, yeah, you know, I can get that perfect parking spot or that princess or the prince or the palace, meaning the house, but there's so much more than I can even imagine in my own mind that is for me, that is in this realm of limitlessness. Now, did I say that right? Limitless? Yeah, that, what she said. It's limitless. It's in this bound, it's in this area of, it's so far-fetched that I can't even imagine it to be. But when I release control and recognize that life is happening through me, I recognize that the infinite intelligence is living and having this expression as me. Therefore, I don't even need to control anything around me. I don't need the parking spot, the princess, the palaces, or anything else. I don't need to make it happen. But when I simply allow life to happen through me, that all of that stuff is already provided in a grand and glorious way, way beyond my imagination, way beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And all of a sudden, it just seems like if there's a puzzle of 1,000 pieces, and I'm over here trying to find the edges, you know how to do puzzles, right? Like, that's how I do puzzles. I try to get the edges first, and then I try to get the middle. So it seems like all of a sudden, when life happens by me, I'm over here trying to find and fit the pieces and make it happen and just kind of affirm and do my concentration and make it effortless, but still let it happen. But when life happens through me, it's almost like the puzzle just magically comes together, and there's the beauty of my life. And there's the beauty of our life as a collective. When we allow the control to just be released, and we accept that life happens through us. And that's the third stage of our spiritual maturation, if you will, our spiritual growth and unfoldment. until we recognize and we catch a glimpse that life is happening as me, that there's nothing that separates my life from the life of God, that from your life, from all of life, that this collective life that is individually expressing and collectively expressing is indeed my life. And when I live from that place and catch that, that sweet, tender place of life happens as me, that's when I recognize and I'm steeped in this belief and this knowing that there's nothing that separates my life from the life of God. And I begin to just simply allow life to be. I don't have to manipulate, control. I don't have to think that I'm a channel. It is not I who do the work, it is the Father within me that does the work. I'm not that channel, but indeed, when you see me, you see life. When you see me, you see God. You see the wonderful and magnificent way that life and God is expressing. And as this is true for me, it is the truth about each and every one of us because we are indeed one. So it's not just true for some of us. There's no hierarchy in spirit. There's no caste system in spirit. God is expressing beautifully and magnificently as each and every one of us. Therefore, it is available to us. So, is your life now the comedy or the tragedy? Are we the ones experiencing doom and gloom? Are we the ones experiencing shortcomings and desperation? Or are we the ones laughing and being in the humor and the joy and the bliss of life because we have done the work necessary to live from that place, to live from this knowing and this consciousness that my life is the life of God no matter what the outpicturing may tell me? So my work is to know the truth even at the times when what is being reflected back to me is telling me something different. But what is being reflected back to me, the manifestation of what is the outpicturing of my prayer work, of my meditation work, of my contemplation, of my sacred practice, is simply an indicator as to what else needs to happen. So we need not curse or poo-poo on the outpicturing because it's not how we really want it to be. But instead, what I get to do is I get to look at what has been manifested and see if my thought and my feeling match. Because when my thoughts and my feelings match, that is the perfect combination for creating. But when they don't match up, that's when we kind of get the signal that something went awry. It's kind of like telling, I'll use a puppy, because if I say a baby, y'all will be like, it's kind of like saying a puppy, oh, you're so ugly. Oh, look at you, you're so ugly. It don't match. The words and the feeling tone don't match, right? Y'all finally got what I was saying, right? Okay, never mind. Humor. It's got to match. When we're affirming or concentrating on a particular thing, like let's say wellness and wholeness in the body, or whether it's wholeness in our affairs, or whether it's financial security, I can't say I'm a billionaire, but in my gut think that's never going to happen. I must graduate to those phases. I must think and concentrate upon everything is coming together for my good. My mind will automatically try to dismiss or challenge something that's way, way too far out. I'm a millionaire. No, you ain't. Last time I checked, there was $26.42 in your account. What kind of millionaire is that? Right? So we may, in fact, need to start with, I am willing to accept my abundance, because that might be where I'm at. And my feelings and where I'm concentrating must match in order for there to be a perfect manifestation. But if I'm thinking I'm a millionaire, but my feeling is I am so broke, what's going to manifest is that confusion. And what may manifest is a little windfall, but then it's squandered off into nothing again. Here's what Ernest Holmes talks about in our reading today. Concentration on page 194, which was part of our reading today. Concentration of thought is not an effort to compel. So it's not like we're saying our affirmations, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Like somewhere there's this magic deity going, the minute she says that, the 100th time, voila, I'm going to give it to her. Because she's dedicated and she's done this for 7 days in a row. Okay, so that's not what's happening here. We're not willing anything to happen, right? But what is happening is the desire to permit the stream of creative energy to take definite form. So we're simply, by doing our affirmations, by concentrating our thought on a particular experience or a particular feeling tone or something that we want to experience, a situation in our home, having a loving family, having a healthy body, having a great career, whatever it is that we're concentrating on, it's not that we're, we have to say it this many times, but it's simply a demonstration that we have this desire to allow this to happen and that it will take specific form, that it will take upon this form, that this is where my energy and my attention is focused upon, to allow it to unfold, right? We concentrate our attention. The law creates the form. So the riddle is solved the moment we place thought, imagination, will, and concentration where they rightly belong in the creative order. Okay, so remember that will is the mental faculty by which we deliberately choose a course of action. So the riddle, meaning how things manifest, how we begin to create our belief, and how we begin to now have this feeling tone so that our words match the feeling tone, and that when those two connect, when those two are there and present, we create. So the way that's solved is when we place our thought, our imagination, our mental faculty by which we deliberately choose a course of action, meaning our concentration. That solves the riddle. So we get to play in this arena. So it's not just something that just happens, happenstance, or every now and then if I choose to say a prayer, or if I choose to do my meditations or affirmations or anything like that. It's really using the great use of our will is to deliberately choose the comedy or the humor or the bliss or the joy over the tragedy. Now, we know sometimes when we're driving or riding in a car or when we have some quote-unquote downtime, if we were to really just kind of like quickly check in, what am I thinking right now? Some of us could go to jail for thinking tragedy all the time. I mean, we really literally imprison ourselves because we're in this like low-grade fever of doom and gloom. We're in this low-grade fever of, oh my gosh, this bill is due and I don't know how I'm going to make the payment. We're in this low-grade fever of, oh my gosh, when's the other shoe going to fall? And those are the times, that right there is a prayer. That right there is an affirmation. When we're unconsciously dwelling in that place, whether we know it or not, Ernest Holmes says it right here. One of the most important things for us to remember is that we are always causing something to be created for us. Not sometimes, always. We're always causing something to be created. And when we're kind of like, oh, I'm just vegging out in front of the TV, or, oh, I'm just kind of, taking a time out right now, but we're dwelling in that place of doom and gloom and lack and limitation and poor health and poverty and illness and sickness and all of that stuff, we're in that moment, in those moments, in that block of time, especially if we add this 5 minutes and that 5 minutes and that 20 minutes and that half an hour of depression and that 35 minutes, if we continuously add those up together, we can really see how long and how much time we're focused on tragedy, the negative outcome of a situation. And this is the wake-up call. Comedy or tragedy, bliss or tragedy, joy or tragedy. What do you want? What is your pleasure? This is the buffet of life. And whatever it is that you choose, you may have. So where are we then in the spectrum of our spiritual maturity? Are we still victim? Are we not taking control of our own minds and thoughts? It's your brain. It's your mind. I can't do nothing with it. I can't will you to start thinking about how great and marvelous your life is. I can only encourage you by reminding you the truth of who you are, that right where you are, God is. Therefore, that which is true of God is true of you. The power and the presence of God is your very life. Therefore, you can choose to have a life of bliss, a life of joy, a life of whatever it is that you want. That's our truth. That's our truth. So when we laugh, we know we feel good. We know that that's an easy way to just kind of come into our wholeness, our greatness, that which is true about us. Shall the result in our lives be a comedy or a tragedy? We are given the will to decide on this issue. In many spiritual communities, the personal responsibility is taken away from you. You're told what to do, how to do it, what to think, what's right, what's wrong. Follow this path, boom, 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 boom. And your personal responsibility has been stripped. In spiritual communities like this, we really say, it's your responsibility. Whatever is out picturing in your life is a direct result of something that you have manifested. Now, some of us might go, dang, I'm jacked up. This is really messed up. The good news is that because I have the personal responsibility, it means that by simply shifting a little bit, by recognizing that it is indeed in my hands and it is indeed my responsibility, that I have the direct responsibility and the direct choice to improve that to the degree that I can be living my life beyond my wildest dreams. Beyond my wildest dreams. I remember being a kid and wanting to be a priest. And being told, you can't be a priest, you're a girl. And thinking to myself, wow, it's not fair. They said, you can be a nun. It's good for some, not good for me. I didn't want to be a nun. I didn't want to get into any bad habits. But I knew that I wanted to live a spiritual life, so much so that I would be not a channel, but an instrument to show the simplicity of living a spiritual life and the benefits of living a spiritual life, and that it happens with ease and grace, and that it doesn't have to be forced, or that you don't necessarily have to be wearing some robe or some big stick or be waving incense or genuflecting and all of that stuff to be spiritual and to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. I just didn't know how it was going to outpicture. I remember as a kid getting the call and feeling that call to ministry, but I remember being told that because of who I was and what I looked like and how I expressed in life and who I loved in life, that I would never do that. And yet, what I knew within me is that there was a calling. There was this higher knowing. There was this deep and sincere desire to live a spiritual life and to do something that's called ministry. And I remember getting the call again as an adult after finding science of mind theology and finding this philosophy and this way of life. And I remember looking at all the other ministers and all the other centers and going, ew, I don't want to have to wear a dress and get suited up and da-da-da. Like, I want to come from the people. I want to be approachable. I want people, everyday people, to know that it's not some far off thing in the distance, but that it's right here. It's right here. I don't even have to go to church. I don't even have to go to a center. I don't even have to go anywhere. That the only place I had to go was within. That it was so personal and so deep and so rich that it was available to anyone, whether we were poor, whether we lived on the quote-unquote other side of the tracks, whether we lived in any part of the world, that this is accessible to everyone because God is living in, through, and as each and every one of us. That the awakening happens for us to the degree in which we want to be awakened and that we want to live this spiritual life. And so, when Ernest Holmes talks about comedy or tragedy that we get to choose, for a long time, some of us think that the tragedy is all that there is until we begin to experience the richness and the fullness and the ease and the joy and love of life. And so it is that it's important for us even now to just simply take a quick look. When it comes to this area of my life, what's out picturing? Tragedy or bliss? Tragedy or bliss? Maybe not so much tragedy, but maybe not so much of what I want. But it ain't bliss yet. So we begin to really uncover those thoughts that continue to manifest the less than. We begin to develop a manner of living, and we begin to use our will, meaning our deliberate mental faculty, to make choices in our lives, to continue to have thoughts in our lives, even when we're unconscious or when we're just kind of in a daze, to see if our default is indeed that place of, my life is the life of God. Imagine catching yourself thinking that thought. Imagine just vegging out one day and what you're thinking of, wow, my life is amazing. My life is the life of God. Wow, was I just thinking my life was the life of God? Wow, that is rad. That is amazing. Yes, imagine catching ourselves that our default now becomes, my life is that life of God. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, joy is. Right where I am, abundance is. Right where I am, peace is. Right where I am, infinite intelligence and divine beauty and creativity is expressing as me. Because that is our truth. And until we get to that place that is our default, we will continue to have those small episodes and maybe those large episodes of tragedy or something less than bliss. But our purpose is to awaken the consciousness of humanity, that we might know that this is our truth, that God is living as us right now, that when I see you, I see God. The beautiful way God is expressing, the hair color, the size, the shape, the skin color, the tone, the complexion, the size, the weight, that is the divine way that life is expressing, that God is expressing in, through, and as you. Regardless of what the world might tell you about who you are or who you need to look like or what you need to be or what the covers of the magazines tell you need to look like, the truth is that just who you are right now is the divine way in which God is expressing. And we get to love that. And if we don't love that about us just yet, then that is our work, to awaken our own consciousness, to deliberately choose comedy, to deliberately use our will to concentrate and simply allow that truth to be made manifest in our life. And one of the ways we do that is by taking this teaching right now and taking it into our quiet time. So the invitation is to clear your laps and to simply breathe with me. And as we simply prepare our hearts and our minds to simply marinate in the word that has been spoken, in the joyous way that we were welcomed, as we marinate in the prayer that was so beautifully spoken, or in the laughter of the jokes, we simply marinate in our time together right now. We take it into our heart space. We take it into our consciousness. We remind ourselves of the truth that we're always causing a creation. Therefore, we choose life. Therefore, we choose love. We choose peace. We choose power. We choose abundance. We choose to recognize and to create a world that works for everyone. We choose right now to bring our consciousness in alignment with the feeling tone of all is well, of my life is the life of God. So we sit with that for just a few moments as we take that in. My life is the life of God.
is the life of God. My life is the life of God.
That which is true of God is true of me. The love, the joy, the peace, the abundance, the infinite intelligence, the divine order, the creativity, the beauty that God is. I am, because my life is that life that God is, because God created everything out of itself. Therefore, I am the way God is expressing in this human form on this planet at this time. And as this is my truth, this is the truth for each and every one of us. Silently and quietly tell yourself that I am the magnificent way that God is showing up on this planet right now. Therefore, the love that God is, I am. Therefore, the joy that God is, I am. The peace that God is, I am. The abundance that God is, I am. The divine beauty and infinite intelligence that God is, I am. It is who and what I am, because God has created everything out of itself, and I am its creation. And how grateful I am for this time together in the silence, anchoring in this truth. Hearing the cheering of the fans on the outside. I say that they're cheering us on our spiritual path. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're cheering us on. Yes, go forth, multiply this knowing, this truth. Don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing. Everything is unfolding in a divine and magnificent way. And all we get to do is match the thought with the feeling. And it's through our spiritual practice that we unite that, and that we begin to believe the truth about ourselves and about the entire planet, and that we begin to see its great manifestation. So for this and so much more, I give thanks and allow it to be. It is so, and so it is. Amen. Welcome back. It's so funny because in October, I did a talk right around Halloween. The whole month was like these things, Halloween themes, and it was the things that go bump in the night. And one of the baseballs from the baseball hit the top of the roof while we were in quiet meditation, and everybody thought Sunny Daye did it in the back. And I was like, no, seriously. So it was kind of cool to hear it happen today. It was like, oh yeah, hearing the cheers. I was like, yeah, they're cheering us on, and then hearing the baseball come over, or the softball come over. It's our conscious giving time where we actually share just a portion of what we've been so blessed to receive, where we have this understanding that we're simply redistributing our good. We're redistributing our good. That which we have been given, we're just taking a portion of it and redistributing it. And as we choose to redistribute to this community, please know that our Seaside community is indeed grateful that we are self-supporting through our own contributions, and that we also indeed have an opportunity then to support the greater Encinitas community and the greater community in which we serve. And that through your gifts, your tithes, your offerings, not only are we able to keep the doors open, but we're also able to provide programs and services, that we're also able to have a web presence, that we're also able to provide wonderful music and programs so that anyone coming through the doors feels welcomed, feels loved, and they know that they're home. And so it is to this that we give. It is to this that we redistribute a portion of our good here to our Seaside community, so that we are indeed participating in the reciprocal nature of life. So whatever it is that you've brought to share, give it from that place of thanksgiving and from that place of joy and bliss. It's not an obligation. It is not an obligation. It is a joy to give, as it is indeed a joy to receive. So as you take your gifts, your tithes, your offerings, and simply hold them to your heart space, become grateful for something or someone in your life. Simply bless it, knowing that these gifts are indeed multiplied. As the ushers come forth, we're simply knowing that our gifts, our tithes, and our offerings fill these baskets, and that they are indeed a blessing onto the world and indeed a blessing onto us, and that we could never outgive that which we've been given. And so we give thanks. We bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, knowing that they are made multiplied over and over again. And so it is. Amen. Ushers, go forth, multiply this consciousness. And as you give, you get to receive. So please open your hearts and receive the beautiful music of our music team, featuring Sunny Daye, Jim Bianchi, and Cole Miller.
I love that you're clapping already. It is that kind of feeling. Yes. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds switch on my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Here's a little song I wrote, gonna sing it note for note. Don't worry,
Don't worry,
be happy.
be happy.
Sometimes the world can bring you trouble, but if you worry, you make it double. But don't worry, don't do it, don't do it. Be happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Sing with us now. So look, man, you can't be thinking about the way things might have been, should have been, could have been. You got to think right now. Life is good. Say life is good.
Life is good.
All is well.
All is well.
I feel irie. Nice. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet, sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is a message to you. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright. I won't worry, don't worry, no, 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 about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. How's it gonna be? Every little thing is gonna be alright. I won't worry, don't worry, don't do it about a thing. It's only gonna make it worse, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Be happy.
Don't worry. Be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Sunny Daye, Jim Bianchi, Cole Miller. What a great trio. I love how we're so supported by our music team. It is indeed incredible. We have a few minutes, and this is the part of our service where we get an opportunity to hear from you. Maybe something in the service and the music, something that was said that's an aha, something, a little nugget that you will take with you, or an aha, or something that is that we can celebrate with you this week. We have time for maybe one or two. Give me 1 second, beloveds. I'm coming to y'all, okay?
Take the gum out.
That's only what the teacher says.
Oh, well, I
I'll be
was
like
a
this.
teacher, 23 years. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to thank our music ministry because I was just thinking about my grandchildren from home, and they used to sit on my doorstep, 3 of them, and sing that song when I was in bed, and that was my wake-up song. And they live in Denver, I live here, and I do have that missing of them. And also, I love the little Jamaican, because my babies are from Trinidad, Tobago. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're here right now. So I got to sing with my birdies.
Excellent. They got to be transported. I got y'all. I see I got eyes behind my head. I see y'all right there, the 2 of y'all. Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. I'm saving the best for last, okay? Shh, don't tell them, though.
I guess it's on. Okay,
Yep, it's on.
So we went to this chiropractor the other day right here in Encinitas, and there's affirmations everywhere about love and life and sharing and caring, including the one that says expect miracles. So we knew we were in the right office, right? And my daughter's kind of going through this whole transformation process right now and maturing spiritually. So we talked about how I used to wear a T-shirt that said expect miracles. And today she opened her mail and found a check that had no idea was coming, completely out of nowhere. And I'm like, told you so.
I love it when that happens. All right.
No.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Ladies first.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Ladies first.
All right.
No,
I'll give it to you. Here you go.
Robinson.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. There you go. Y'all are fair about it. I love it. What's up, Chris? How's it going this week?
Good.
Good.
Sorry, Mom.
What do you have to tell us?
Well, my birthday was on Friday.
Happy birthday. How old are you now? How old are you now, beloved?
12.
12.
Yeah.
Wow.
My party was on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. I got a good cake.
Good deal. Is that what you want to tell us?
And I got to light the fire.
And you got to light the fire. Nice.
12 of them.
12 of them. Good deal. You're the best. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hey, Sweet Pea.
Hey.
What's going on?
Today I asked my teacher, Miss Hare, about a test of multiplication that we take. It's 60 problems, and you have to get one wrong or all right to pass. And I was not one of the last ones, but like one of the 5. And so I asked her today, and she said, I got 59 right. So I passed. And
Nice.
my mom said, wait, what about the multiplication test? In the car, and she's like, I said, I passed. And then, yeah, she was like, wow. So, but it was really hard because it's times tables all through 10.
Yeah.
10 times
Nice
4.
job, Nicolette. High five. High five. Excellent. Excellent. How great it is that we have young people in our community who have this opportunity to put these principles and practices into their lives.